Hey everyone, on today's episode, I'm going to walk you through why I personally believe that in business and as a business owner, you need to give out participation trophies. This is a very controversial topic, but it's necessary. Check it out. Hey everyone, welcome back to Contractor Growth Network. I'm Logan.
Nah, I'm Alex.
And today, my goal is to teach not only Alex, but everybody else out there why you need to have participation trophies in business. All right. So let me start off, because we talked about this on the last podcast. The quote of The Man in the Arena by Theodore Roosevelt. Okay.
Enlighten me.
Literally do you know Teddy Roosevelt's like basic background story?
Not really, honestly.
Unbelievable. He was a maniac. Pretty much, he grew up pretty wealthy family, didn't want that, went off, fought in the I'm pretty sure the Spanish-American War. He ended up getting shot. I don't know if he got shot in the war. I know there was an assassination attempt afterwards that shot him in the ribs, and then he then gave a speech.
Is he part of the Rough Riders?
Rough Riders, yep,
Okay.
That was him. Crazy animal. Became president, ended up giving it up. Somebody came in, stepped in his place, or I think the person afterwards came in, won, and he said, screw it, I want to run again. So he actually took a 4-year break, then tried to run again and didn't make it. But I think during that next run that he went, that's when he got shot, and then literally walked up to the person who shot him and said, why'd you shoot me?
Wow.
Yeah, and then gave his speech with a
Badass.
bullet in his ribs.
That's crazy.
So he's got an unbelievable story. He's done a lot for the country.
Damn.
But so here's The Man in the Arena. It's a quote by him. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds? Who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. Okay, here we go. So Alex, what if we start off this way before I jump all into this? Walk me through your mentality and the rest of America's mentality, especially like these big, strong man business guys,
Yeah.
on
Beards.
participation trophies.
So, my angle, I'll use sports as the example.
And I knew you were going to use sports because I have
Because-
every retort in the world for sports. So here we go.
Okay. So, when I was a kid, you didn't really get participation trophies because you didn't win anything. You didn't. You got the trophy was playing with your friends when you were a kid, when you were younger, and it for me personally, it drove me to want to be a better soccer player, baseball player, because I wanted the big trophy that they would give the MVP or the champions. That's what you strive for, and you were upset, and it builds character when you lost because you're like, I don't like that feeling. Let's push harder and get to the next level. Some kids didn't really care, so they just kind of like, whatever. I'll quit, and that's it. And those are the kids I realized they need a participation trophy or they wouldn't keep going. But for me, I was the type of kid that wanted to keep going and do and push for that big trophy. Anyway, but I think now that it's gotten older and participation trophies have been moving in, I can see the softness of America's youth. How everybody needs, a pat on the back. Everyone needs a trophy just for, participating in a sport that I think everybody wants to play or everybody plays as a kid. Now, when you get to the big leagues, that's going to happen. So what is it? My big thing is, what is it teaching the youth if you're just giving them out trophies and you're rewarding them for mediocre effort or, lackluster execution when you get to the big stage and you can't execute on a big project in business, or in the Super Bowl, you throw that interception. What's that teaching you? Oh, we'll get them back next year. No, that can cost people jobs, money, millions of dollars on the line for some companies. So I think it's just a bad mindset to start out with kids nowadays.
Okay, so let's say when you were playing sports, what sport was your sport?
Baseball.
Okay, so when you're playing baseball and you don't win, and somebody walks up to you and hands you a participation trophy, what does that take away from you? What negative does that bring on in your life?
I didn't earn it. Why am I getting this trophy?
Okay.
It takes away that I don't deserve this.
Okay. So with that, are you now going to try less next time?
No, I'm still gonna try hard, but I want the bigger trophy.
Okay. So what it sounds like for you, somebody who's naturally, if they lose, they want to win, a participation trophy does nothing for them.
No.
So it's kind of a waste of a thing. But it's not going to take away from you. It's just not going to add anything to it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
Put it that way.
Okay. Because what I'm trying to figure out is because those that have this insatiable desire to win, whether you give them a participation trophy or not, they want to win. And they're going to try just as hard. So it's not like it's taking away from people that lose who naturally have a desire to win. Okay, let's talk about the people that they didn't win, but they just put in a mediocre effort and they get a participation trophy. What does that do for them? What is the negative that it instills in their life?
They get rewarded for mediocre effort. That they think that their effort was good enough to win, and they think they are a winner for mediocre or lackluster effort.
So do you truly think that the kids that go out there and lose and somebody hands them a trophy and says, "Hey, at least you tried. You're really a winner in our hearts." You think they know that they didn't actually win?
I would hope so. I mean, they probably think they're a winner because they played the game and they were out there. Which I guess like the man in the arena quote literally says that, and I give them credit for going out there because there's kids in the stands that wouldn't play. But I don't know. I think that it just puts a bad mindset that going forward, I could just put mediocre effort. I'll still get a trophy. I'll still get the the hardware, but that's it.
So in sports, are you playing to become victorious and to win, or are you playing for a piece of hardware?
To win.
So what does it matter what hardware they give you?
Yeah, but if you give you the short hardware, the participation hardware, chances are you didn't really win anything. So you're not achieving that goal that you're set out to achieve.
So should the losing teams in the NFL actually not get paid?
No, they should get paid.
How come?
They're professional. It's a business.
So, I mean, when you're playing these sports, when you're a kid, you don't get paid, but you get paid in rewards. Congratulations. So are you now saying that the kids who lose should actually just get blasted by their parents?
No, you shouldn't get blasted. I mean, I know those parents that actually did that, and that was horrible. I think they should get a pat on the back. Good job. But, I don't know, handing out a piece of hardware, it is a little, it's different from kids to adults. But, like, a piece of hardware you could, that to a kid is basically getting, your $100,000 contract. That is what they're all striving to be. I'm saying if, you're picking dandelions out in right field and picking your nose and they give you a participation trophy, you think you did a fantastic job when you let 5 home runs go over your head because you were picking dandelions. But I don't know. In professionals, if you go 0-16, you're still getting paid. Yeah, it's your contract. So really, what does it matter? But that's also on the coaches, and that's how you lose your job as well. So, I mean, you put that in in your head that you're a loser, then you're going to be a loser.
So the way that I come about all this is I'm a fan of the idea and a huge proponent of it that you acknowledge the result, but you reward the effort. So you don't go, "Hey, great, you're a winner in my heart," which maybe you are a winner in my heart, right? You're up there, you're the one doing it, but you're not a winner according to the score. So I'm proud of you for being out there. I'm proud of you for getting after it, but you came up short. And you leave it at that. So you let them know that you encourage them, because without that encouragement, their life is screwed because now you're never going to live up to the expectations. But it's not always about the end result. It's always about the effort. And yes, at the end of the day, you're going to win, lose, whatever it is. But the effort that goes into it is everything. And in business, and I knew you were going to pick sports because that's everybody's argument for everything is sports. But let me ask you this. What is actually, I don't even go, that's too deep of I wanted to segue into that a little bit more before I bring that up. In sports with a coach, what is the role of a coach in sports?
Lead the team.
Okay. And how does a coach lead the team?
Either by strategic planning or motivational speeches and kind of just has the path set out for the team already.
So when you say the path, are they the ones telling the team what to do? I mean, who's making up the plays? Who's the one saying, quarterback, you do this, running back, you do that?
Coaches.
Yeah. In business, if you're trying to coach somebody, and if somebody goes, yeah, I need help, you don't walk up and just go, hey, you need to do this differently, because nobody will listen. Mm-hmm. The way that you coach in sports is you're effectively, everybody looks to you and you tell everybody what to do. You are the one putting the pieces in play. In business, if I literally just sat here and just scold, like, this is what you have to do, this is what you have to do, people are going to quit. Mm-hmm. You can't coach people the way that you coach in sports, the same way that you coach in an office. I mean, have you ever been yelled at by a coach in sports?
Yeah.
What if I started yelling at you in the office?
I'd be heartbroken.
Yeah, I'd be like, Logan, like, you understand, like, what are you doing right now?
Yeah.
So you can't coach the same way that you coach in business as you do in sports. Mm-hmm. Okay. Here's another example. What is both the Patriots? This is like they're really well known for this, but Alabama's the same way. Do you know what the Patriots' motto, like what Bill Belichick's big motto is for the Patriots?
Do your job.
Do your job. Mm-hmm. What does do your job mean?
Just do what you were brought in to do. Do your job. Do it well. Do it 100%. And
what's the other side of that? There's another side to the do your job quote.
I don't think I know.
Don't do anymore.
Oh, okay.
Don't do anymore. Do exactly what you're brought in here to do. No more. Mm-hmm. No less, but no more. And if everybody just does exactly what they're supposed to do, you will win a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Hands down, you will win. But here's the problem with small business. Most people don't have defined roles. Mm-hmm. Most people come in, they don't know what their exact job is.
You wear many hats.
You wear so many hats, and it's always fluid. And most businesses and most business owners don't say, this is specifically what you're brought in here to do, and I don't want you to do anything else outside of this. Mm-hmm. So how can you do your job when you don't have a defined job?
You can't.
You can't. Mm-hmm. So you come in and you go, do your job, like, get this shit going, and this and that. It's like, nobody knows what the role is supposed to be. Mm-hmm. So how can they do exactly what they're brought in to do when they haven't been told what to do?
They can't.
They can't.
Yeah.
Then on top of that, let me keep going. In sports, what % of football players make it to the NFL?
Less than 1%.
Less than 1%. You think we have, in every business, you have to hire people. Mm-hmm. You're not going to get just the top less than 1% of the human population working for you. So you can't treat them as if they're less than the 1%. Mm-hmm. You're also not paying people a minimum salary of $500,000 a year starting out. So you can't treat people as in the Patriots do it this way, so will we. You're not dealing with the elite of the elite of the elite and paying them $500,000. So you have to treat them differently. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're saying, look, I only want the best top percent of people in the world, but I'm also going to pay them in the same structure, then you have a little bit more of a reason to treat them in a certain way that's like, hey, look, if you don't want to be here, you just go. Mm-hmm. But if you said it in the business world, now you got a wrongful termination lawsuit on your hands.
Yeah.
So you can't do it that way.
Mm-hmm. So you're brought up and you're rewarded for, I don't know, mediocre effort, which I guess is harsh to say.
I'm not talking about effort. I'm not talking about mediocre effort. What I'm talking about is participation trophies, meaning get out there. I'm not talking about if it's mediocre effort, then yes. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go, dude. What are you doing out there? Like, come on, what's going
Because I'm with you. I believe that if you make the effort and you just fail, that happens all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm with that. You should get the pat on the back, the participation trophy. I'm more on the lackluster effort. Those people getting rewarded and then skating through till you get to a big stage where you're like a small business that needs you to wear many hats, and you just do lackluster effort. You just do your job. And not anything else, and the company fails because of that. But you don't see what's going or anything wrong.
Yeah, so that's what I'm talking about, where I say acknowledge the result, but reward the effort. Mm-hmm. You're not going to reward bad effort, just like in business. You put out a video, like last week. Like you have every week supposed to be getting 10, 11, 12 new subscribers. Last week we got 5. Mm-hmm. Do I go, Alex, dude,
yeah,
are you serious? Yeah. What happened last week? Mm-hmm. But I know you're doing the same stuff, and it was just an off week for the videos or for the people or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. So it's I don't come in, I go, hey, man, videos look good. Good job on those. I appreciate you pushing. Now, if I look over and I realize that, you didn't put out the 3 videos that you normally put out. You only put out 1, and the 1 sucked. Mm-hmm. Now I go, all right, Alex, what happened, man?
Yeah.
Are you serious? Get your shit together.
Yeah.
So what I'm talking about here is you reward hard work and you reward good effort, and you don't just focus on the end result. I'm a very black and white person with things. Like, if you don't do it my way, like, you're wrong. But I've been trying to get better and better at that because I realize that, like, there's a lot of different ways to do things. And if you constantly, you only, like, reward the end result and that's it, you're never going to have anybody working for you. You're never going to be happy yourself. I mean, like, in business, as a business owner, I mean, we talked about this with millennials in, like, that video a while ago, like, why do millennials, like, what are they looking for in a company? Do you remember what y'all's, like, the synopsis of the answer was for you guys?
Like an environment, basically, like a good environment, good culture.
And what is entailed in that? Because there's one specifically in my mind that every single one of you guys brought up.
I don't know. I can't.
Acknowledged.
Acknowledged.
You want to be acknowledged for the value that you guys are. So if I only come to you and go, hey, good job, you got this person another lead, then it doesn't do much. But if I go, hey, good job over there, like, hey, I appreciate you thinking outside the box on this sort of stuff. That's just the effort. That's not the end result. The end result is how many leads does a contractor get, but the effort is, are you doing what you need to be doing to get yourself there? And that is the effort piece that I think a lot of people forget about, and they just look at it as, well, you lost, you shouldn't get a trophy.
Yeah. Which, okay, so like, I'm with you on the good effort, and you should reward it. I'm with you on that. So what I think this is a big question in especially sports. When does, like, the good effort, but the failure to put the results kind of come into the mind, like, come into play? You know what I'm trying to say? Like, you know how you wouldn't reward a lackluster effort. So when does the line stop of rewarding the good effort? Is it duration of time that the results aren't coming through?
I see what you mean. So if you consistently put out good effort and you're consistently losing.
So Cincinnati Bengals, their head coach has been there for 16 years. Like, before last year, they finally let him go.
Right.
Because they hadn't won anything.
Yep.
But they were consistently good, and the effort was clearly there for 16 years. Is it just a time thing where you're
I think
like...
it's just a time thing.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was something like that. So like, another example, like, with big on the effort side is all my whole dad's side of the family, they're all recovering alcoholics and drug addicts, right? You're never recovered, you're always recovering. You know how they have, like, those... your sobriety chips. You know what those are?
Yeah, like, you reach a certain point, you get a chip.
Correct. Do you know what the first chip you generally get is?
A day.
Your 1 day chip. Would you consider somebody who has drank their whole life and then after 1 day, somebody who's good to go?
No,
probably not
at all.
Yeah, that's 1 day. But you still give them a chip because it's something along the way. Now, if they've been giving 50 1-day chips, at a certain point, you're going to go, okay, look, man, we can't keep giving you these chips. Like, it gets too much. So yes, I think if you continuously put forth the effort, it's the result of insanity. If you're continuously trying new things and you're putting forth the effort for that, and you keep failing, then you just got to keep sticking to moving and try to figure out what works if you're that passionate about it. But I think if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over with no result, that's when you go, okay, something is off. But again, I'm a big fan of if you want to think outside the box, try something new. I'm a fan of that sort of effort because you're trying to get new places and you can't go somewhere new unless you try something new. So that's really with all this stuff, like in the CSA, we want to reward people, or at least give people shout outs that say who had their first role play this week. How much effort does it take to physically have a role play? Not much. Like, you can literally just, like, slime through it and go, yep, I got it. But at least it's calling people out to go, hey, great job. Like, even people, like, I hate when people go to conferences and then come back and do nothing with it, because that's a waste of time. But at least you went. At least you went there, and even if you don't put into place today what you learned there, you at least have the knowledge of it. So in 5 years down the road, if you want to go, wow, 5 years ago I learned this one thing, let me put it into place today, it at least works. You're at least there, even if you don't put it into place. Yeah. So I'm a big fan of the whole effort idea that I'm not going to reward bad effort, and it's pretty obvious if there's bad effort. So, and I know what most people do is they resort back to the idea of sports and back when I was a kid and this and that, but like, okay, well, back when your grandfather was a kid, they didn't have labor laws.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, oh, you're a wimp. You leave at 6 p.m., Alex? Like, are you serious? Like, your great-grandfather. Yeah, like, he was 7 years old working 14 hours in the mines. Like, why don't you suck? So it's like, and every generation, it's like Socrates. Socrates, I think, talked about that, where he was like, if the youth these days, if only they worked as hard as their parents, like we wouldn't have a problem in this country or this empire, whatever you want to call it. But it's like that has been going on every single generation. Every generation thinks that the next generation down is lazy and boring and this and that, and it's just a scapegoat of a idea.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah, I think when you brought up the sports and businesses are different, you're totally right. It's because there's different styles of like big business and small business run totally differently, and professional sports and amateur sports obviously run completely differently. Because you're right, the 0-16 Browns, they also got paid their full contracts. So yeah, no, you're right about that.
So that's what I'm just saying with this idea of participation trophies. It's not so black and white. If my kid was on a team and he himself or she herself just continuously went out there and tried, but in baseball there's 9 people on the field.
Yeah.
If the other 8 people suck and they continuously lose, I'm not going to go to my kid and go, "What do you like? You suck. Are you serious?" Like I'm going to like tell him, "Hey, look, like I saw the effort." Like think about it in baseball when you're a kid, when you swing at a pitch and you miss, half the time the coach goes, "Good swing."
Yeah. Yeah, good eye.
Yeah, exactly. They don't say, "Hey man, are you serious? Like why would you not hit that? Like are you even trying out there?"
Yeah.
So
I see that, yeah. I think you're definitely right. You changed my mind a little bit.
that was my goal.
Yeah, I looked at it a little too black and white.
It is.
But I take bowling into a big count because I think this is like the most recent where you got a big trophy for high average in your, age group. And I was like, no, it's 16. So, but I was like striving for this for years, and I finally got it one year. But every year since then, I got the little participation trophy. And I just personally hated it because I was like, I don't want this little thing. I want the big one. So that's kind of what I was like. It's not all about hardware for me, but if you're not getting paid, that's your payment right there. Yeah. That's what the goal of that was. And then I got the high average, and then I kind of thought, all right, what's next? So it kind of was like, I think it's a whole mindset thing. I really do. I really think not getting it growing up until I was about, I don't know, middle school, little league or whatever, I think that helped shape me. But instead of giving these kids, I guess these kids are a little softer growing up. They need it in T-ball or something like that. But I don't know, man.
Yeah, and I get where most people are coming from, because I used to be the same boat. Like, oh, you didn't make it, like you failed, like this and that. But like, think of all the failures you've had in your life, like what you learned from them.
Yeah.
Like, and if nobody encourages you to get back out there, get back up on that horse and try again, so you could potentially fail again and learn something new, then you're not going to go back up there and learn something new.
I think for me, I was always getting that support verbally and from like my parents. Like I was always getting that participation trophy support. So I don't think I needed the piece of hardware to like describe that. I guess some kids didn't get that. I know a couple kids I played baseball with all through school did not get that at all until they were great. They were the best. Which how are you supposed to be the best if you live in a town of 50 people? Like
It's not, I mean,
they're not going to
default,
notice you. Yeah, by default, you're the best. So, yeah, I get it. I think it goes case to case too. I think some kids will take that trophy and just be skate by the rest of their life, and that
and they go, well, I've been working here for a year. I should get a raise, or like I do what you want me to do, even though I half-ass it. Like you owe me a bonus, like things like that, and it's like, okay, yeah, by default, but have you been putting in the effort? If you just skate by every day, then you do not deserve this stuff. But even if you don't crush it and you're still putting in the effort, if you don't reward that stuff, if you don't acknowledge people on that, especially in business, you will lose people. And this is why people leave to go work for $1 an hour more somewhere else. People hate change. They hate change so much that if you are literally losing people for $1 an hour or $2 an hour more across town, it is not for the money.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, people hate change that much. They're not doing it. So you need to acknowledge the people along the way. Let them know that the effort that they're putting in is there. It's worth it. You're proud of them. If they continuously put in the effort with the exact same strategy and it keeps failing, then you acknowledge the result even more and go, look, I appreciate what you're doing. We got to talk about what's going on, though. Like, this has been the 15th house that you've enthusiastically painted on the walls, but we're getting callbacks on every single house. Like, thanks for getting it done fast, but something's got to give.
Yeah. So let me ask you something. So you were a college diver.
Yeah.
So you obviously
it's a sport.
Yeah, diving.
Yeah.
And now you own your business. Was that? I know you said you always been big on the participation, but was that something you always were big on, even in your like athletic life, or is that something you had to switch mindset wise when you started a business?
The way this is how I got it when I was a kid. My mom, very supportive, right? And what she talked about, which was every kid in my family's different. I think if you go by like grades and stuff, I was out of the 4, I got the worst grades out of all my siblings. And my mom's whole thing was, if you try hard and you study and you get a C, I'm proud of you. That's all I want. I just want you to put the effort in there. And if the best that you can do is a C, then you get a C. I'm cool with that. So that was kind of the mentality that I took with everything, was you put yourself out there, and as long as you put in the effort, like that's why I have like tattooed on my ribs. I have a Bible verse that says, all hard work brings a profit, but mere talk leads only to poverty, which just means even if you don't get the end result, in my mind, even if you don't get the end result, as long as you put in the work and you put in the effort, you will be rewarded down the road, whether you get it right now or not. So with that, I had that from my mom growing up, in diving. I really, it took me for a couple years. I was all about like, either you win or you don't, like this is BS. But then like, as I got to like my senior year of college, I remember, I got second. There's three events in diving, and I got second place to the same kid in all 3 events. Well, that kid was a silver medalist in the Olympics. Like,
pretty big deal.
Yeah, like to me, there's only so much that I can do, and I'm not going to beat myself up the rest of my life because I got second place to Nick McCrory on 3 different events.
Yeah.
Because I literally put in the effort, I put in the time. In my mind, I'm like, I kind of feel like I won because I beat the rest of the other people that are like me. But this guy was on such a different level. It's like you going out there and you playing like, I don't know, like flag football, right? With a league like this, and you are the best quarterback aside from Tom Brady, who decided to join the league. But if you're the best out of everybody else that is in your group, then you're going to feel pretty good about yourself because you're not going to beat Tom Brady.
No.
So it took me a little bit of time to realize that I was like, screw it. Like, this is literally like I'm doing everything I can to beat him. So I'm not going in going, well, screw it, I'm just going to stop. But if I don't beat him, I don't beat myself up the rest of my life.
No.
I'm okay with
Some
it.
people just have natural talent too that
Yeah,
just trumps everything.
and that's how, he was good at everything. He worked really hard. So like, I respected him, for what he was doing.
Yeah.
Come the Navy stuff, I failed out of that. For me, I'm more upset that I didn't put in all the effort that I should have. That was the biggest thing for me on why that like still sticks with me. Quitting Buds during Hell Week was just because it wasn't that I didn't make it. It was the fact that I'm like, there's a lot of things I should have done better.
So did you, like when you failed out of the Navy, were you completely, shut off from anybody giving you like positive feedback that you tried?
Yeah, I didn't.
Because
I was like, dude,
I
I appreciate you saying that this doesn't define me and you make me feel better, but like at this point, I just want to crawl into a cave and just like see nobody for a very long time.
And that was because you feel like you didn't put enough effort into it.
Yes, it was a lot because I thought I was just checking off the boxes, just doing what the Navy told me to do to prepare for it. I was good. And then in hindsight, I realized I wasn't good because I obviously didn't make it. So that's why I'm really bummed, is that like, if I would have just like literally like lived and breathed the training for it, and I went in there and didn't make it, then I go, you know what? Like there's literally nothing else I could have done. It just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
But I look back and I go, there was a lot of nights I went out. There was a lot of times that like, instead of doing a very long run like I should have, I just did like a quick little run. Just try to get speed up. That was really an excuse for me going, I don't want to run far.
Yeah.
And then now with this business stuff, that's why I work pretty hard at this, because I don't want to look back and go, well, I put in a really good 80% effort.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
I
I do that too with some things where I look back and people try to tell you, oh, you did the best you could. It just wasn't in the cards. They go, nah, I could have did better. And that's like those moments in my life. Those are the biggest ones where I'm like, that's where I think I don't need any praise. I just know I've screwed up on that one.
Yeah. But if you literally put in the best effort that you could and you don't make it and somebody goes, hey, you put in a good effort, you're like, I did.
Yeah, I'm proud of that moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So you're proud of not winning. You're not proud of not winning, but you're proud of the effort that you put in to get there.
Yes.
And that's what I want to instill in people, is that like, when you have people that work for you, they're never going to be as perfect as you want them to be because they're not you. So, but if you just continuously push people away and you get pissed that the end result isn't exactly what you want, you're going to lose people all the time. So you need to acknowledge people and acknowledge the effort, but still keep a pulse on the result.
Yeah. Son of a bitch. Changing my mind.
It's just, and that's the biggest thing that everybody does, is they always go to sports with participation trophies. Because that's where you actually get them.
That's where it comes from.
That's where it comes from. But, and yeah, I'm just obviously very big on it because I've thought a lot about it.
No, you had me when you split sports from professional and amateur, and then you split business from small to big, and I'm like, God damn it, he's right.
Yeah.
I mean, because it is true. I mean, we all go to sports because it's where it stems from, but it's like it's true in everything. I'm a big words of affirmation guy with effort. Like I will put a lot of effort in, and if it doesn't have the results I don't get, is like I'm disappointed. But I'm like I've tried everything I could. So.
And then with this, if I just came in and said, "Look, Alex, I'm gonna be honest, man, you're wrong. Like I'm right," you'd be like, "All right, got it." You know,
Sick,
like all right, dick.
Shut
But,
down. Yeah.
Yeah, but then like in sports, if I'm like, "Hey, look, man, like I know you want to throw this play, like that's not gonna work. I want you to run this one instead." You're like, "All right, cool, coach has got it." So it's just different. The different dynamics. It's you can't compare sports in like the NFL.
Yeah.
And I see NFL players like do this with their kids, where like they take a video of them like snapping their participation trophy in half, and I'm like, what you're doing to your kid right now is you're showing them that you're thinking that you show them like, oh, the hard work gets you there, but like you're literally just saying like you're not going to live up to me in my mind. And it's the same idea that final example, and then we'll close this thing out. People that are overweight, if you shame them, like, Alex, dude, like you're looking pretty fat, like you need to do something about it. That has a more negative effect, which now you feel bad about yourself. And if you're overweight, what do you most likely do to comfort yourself and feel better?
Food.
But if I go, Alex, look, dude, look, it looks like you dropped like 2 pounds, man. Like you look a little bit thinner.
You're going back to the gym.
Yeah, you're going to go back to the gym. You're rewarding the effort. I'm not rewarding the fact that you're ripped up because you're not. But I'm just rewarding the fact that you're putting it in there. And they've done studies that show that positive reinforcement. That's why everybody gets so mad when they're like, how can you tell somebody that they look beautiful when they're overweight? You know, they're hurting their kidneys. Like, yeah, they are. But if you shame them, like they're that way naturally. Like that's just who they are. And if you shame them and go, you need to realize that you're in the public eye. And if you're talking about being overweight and being proud, you're doing, you know, the Diabetes Association a disservice. That person just goes into more of a hole and more defensive, and they're going to get bigger and they're going to double down on their overweightness versus going, they actually look pretty good. And then they go, yeah, it's the same thing with TJ. When you said, instead of going, yeah, TJ, this is now like a personal conversation. Like with what happened with my little brother, he works for my dad's company, with a pond company. What he did was he was supposed to send over like 50 videos. He sent over 3. And Alex was like, yeah, dude, I only got 3. And I was like, tell him, instead of going, hey, dude, where's the other 47, which puts TJ in a defensive mode, just thank him for the effort of sending over the 3. And then as soon as you said, hey, TJ, thanks for sending these 3 videos over, what did TJ do?
He sent me all those 47
He sent over the other 47 ones. But if you would have said, TJ, dude, where are the other 47?
Yeah. Oh, he was like, yeah, it was only 3. There's supposed to be 50.
Yeah.
So then you go.
Yep. So
Correct.
and this is the big Dale Carnegie thing, which is going to be a book club book for sure, because it's amazing.
I see him everywhere now.
Dale Carnegie?
Yeah, his quotes.
Yeah, he's big.
Yeah, I see him all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, we're about 50 years too late to interview him, but
1871.
Yeah, next one.
Just missed it.
So, all right, guys, you good on this
yeah,
topic?
Yeah, this is good.
All right, cool.
Thanks for changing my mind, man. Made me feel real tough.
Well, hopefully out there, you guys pick up on this. I'm not saying disregard the results. I'm just saying acknowledge that when people put forth the effort, that's really more important, because otherwise nobody's going to get back up and get back in the batter's box if you blast them for striking out once. So do me a favor on this one. If you're on YouTube, instead of just hitting the like button, let me know if you agree or disagree, because I want to know, how do you feel about this? Did I do a good job of like explaining my side of things and positioning it, or are you still very much so that participation trophies should be removed from the face of the earth? So do me a favor, if you're on YouTube, let me know, because we will respond, and trust me, I'm going to go back and forth with you, because I want to hear your side out on it. And then if you're on Apple Podcasts, if there's somebody out there that should listen to this sort of stuff, send it over to them. Right? It's a quick, easy send, and it gets our message out there, and hopefully, in my mind, I can change a couple more people's minds about participation trophies.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, cool. Thanks, guys.